Depression isn't just sadness, and it isn't in anyone's head. It's a real thing, and it is caused by a chemical imbalance. Have you ever felt down or discouraged, but not just once, but like continuously, and you just feel hopeless, like there's nothing anybody can do for you, and you just feel like you can't live life? That is what a lot of people in the US and around us struggle with every day. This is a huge social problem in the world, and it affects almost everyone. There's different kinds of depression. There's postpartum depression, there's anxiety that leads to depression, there's clinical depression, and there's major depression. Over the last few years, I myself have struggled with depression, as well as my mom and my 16-year-old brother and my best friends. My mom, she has dealt with it for a while. She's dealt with it for the past 4 years. It probably has been there long before then, but it's been a problem past 3 years. She struggles with it every day, but she, works with it. And so does my brother. My brother was 16, 15, almost 16 years old, and he was diagnosed with major depression, which is off the charts depression, and that's a lot for a 16-year-old. So I just want to go over the difference between having clinical depression and just being down and discouraged, and what the actual difference is for that. And I also wanted to explain that children can have depression. The difference between clinical depression and being sad: clinical depression is not caused by having a bad day. It's something that's literally happening in your brain and in your mind, and it's not in your head literally. It's the chemical in your head, and this chemical is actually supposed to um, help with our mood, and it's supposed to help us understand ourselves. And without this chemical that can keep us balanced and not feeling so depressed, it takes a toll on a lot of people. Um, it makes a lot of people not feel like they can do anything. It makes them feel like they don't have any hope in this world, that nothing can help them, and that sometimes does lead to suicide, which is another big thing in this world. And I have I have not personally lost anybody from suicide and them being depressed, but I have had people in their life hurt themselves because they don't feel like anything can help, and they just want to feel something. Which the difference between clinical depression and being down or sad is feeling sad and down is normal for anyone. And I got that from a website about health and wellness, and it tells us that you can feel down every day, but feeling low and hopeless is not. And if you feel like you're hopeless every single day of your life and you don't feel like anything can get better, then that's one sign of depression. My second big point is children can have depression. Anybody can have depression. Children don't have the same stress as us, but they still have stress. And that's a big factor for children, and that's how a lot of people have depression, is because they're so stressed. And some of the ways that children have this stress is they're bullied. Some people don't even know that they're bullied, and that causes stress on them, and that makes them feel like they're not good enough for anybody. And then um, there's too much homework. If there's too much homework, these kids get stressed. They get sad, they feel like they can't do it. And if they get bad grades on it, they just feel like they're not good enough, and they don't have the mentality to be like, hey, you are good. You're doing your best you can. Another thing that could cause these kids to be depressed is abusive relationships. If they have abusive parents, if they have abusive guardians, if they have people hurting them that shouldn't be hurting them, that should be loving them, that's another thing that can cause depression. Um, so kids can be sad, but when it is constant and interferes with their lives and their schoolwork, and they don't want to do anything, that's a problem for a lot of people. And it actually, kids are starting to be diagnosed with depression. My brother was 15 years old and it interfered with a lot of different things. He doesn't like doing anything anymore. He has behavioral problems, and that's a big thing that it causes. It causes behavioral problems. He's not much of a loner, which is it's another kind of thing that it goes along with it. They don't want to be talked to. They just want to stay to themselves. And um, another thing is schoolwork goes down. And I know that schoolwork goes down because whenever I got into my depression, I did not want to do anything. I just wanted to sit at home. I didn't even want to go to work. And it's a big problem for a lot of people, especially kids, because, kids should want to have fun. They should want to go run around and be kids. They don't want to. They don't want to be involved in activities. They don't want to do anything. And that takes a toll on the parents. That takes a toll on the kids. Um, but in conclusion, there is a difference between clinical depression and sadness. There's multiple things that can cause depression, and there's not just one type of depression. There is multiples, as we have discussed. There's postpartum, there's clinical, there's major. Sadness isn't just um, oh well, I'm sad, so I'm depressed. No, everyone can be sad, but it's a different story to be depressed and down and to always feel like that's something in your brain that triggers us. Another thing is kids can be depressed. They don't have to have the same stress as us, but they do have stress, and sometimes we don't know what could be stressing them, so we need to talk to them about that. And my last big thing is we can always help somebody. We can always change somebody's day. Somebody might not be having a good day, and if you're mean to them, if you're rude to them, and you give them an attitude, they're not gonna be any more happier. All I'm saying is everyone's stressed, and everyone has some sort of sadness, and that's following them around, and we all should help them get over that. We should help them through the day. We shouldn't be taking them down. We should be building them up and being good humans. Thank you for watching.